Morning. And it's a beautiful morning in New York City. Thanksgiving is over. The turkey comas are gone. The alcohol highs are gone. And here we are, faced with the reality of it's another day. Christmas trees are on the streets to be sold. That's what happens the day after Thanksgiving. Also, the day after Thanksgiving, the first hostages from Gaza are being released, and Israel is exchanging 30 women and children with Hamas. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a long-anticipated hostage release end. The folks from Thailand who have been held hostage in Gaza, they've also been released. And a little-known group that took me 3 articles to verify has been released as well. Who knew Russia was in Gaza? Russian citizens, some kids, they were in Gaza. I never knew that they had any relatives in Gaza. According to the Times of Israel, the last 103 left, and they completed the 750 Russians, nationals that were already there. They were flown out of Egypt by special plane to Moscow. You read another newspaper, you find out, it was the same 103 released, but it was probably close to maybe 900. You read Reuters, and you find out there were 1,000. How can you read the news, rely on one source, and get the information? It took me and a friend 3 separate papers to come out with the answers, and really the final totals don't agree. I've gone from 650 to 750 to 900 to 1,000. And I still didn't know why Russia was so benevolent to Palestinians, nor did I realize that there were any Palestinians of Russian descent in Gaza, which leads me to believe what I thought all along, is that Russia was providing advisorship to Hamas. And because Israel's cracking down really hard on Hamas, they got their folks out of there in the nick of time. I'm glad that Iran made a deal with Thailand, and the Thai nationals are getting out as well. Now we'll see what happens and how the war in Gaza progresses. What I don't like is I don't like looking at the ultra-left on one hand that absolutely will not acknowledge Jewish pain, Jewish rape, or Jewish people. They don't exist. The right, we already know, they don't like anybody. They're equal opportunity discriminators, the ultra-right. But the left, you have dehumanized the Jews once again, just like 1930s, just like the 1800s. Why do you think there's a state of Israel to begin with? There's a state of Israel to begin with because anti-Semitism in Europe was rampant. And Herzl and Weizmann and Einstein knew there had to be a state. Does the state of Israel work perfectly? No, it doesn't. Does any state work perfectly? I don't think so. They're not all paradises on earth. They make mistakes. Politics makes mistakes. People make mistakes. The same people who could be Arab, who could be Mizrahi or Sephardim in Israel, become attorneys, become lawyers, accepted in their profession, treat everyone, and maybe they would encounter anti-Semitism on occasion. Seems to be part of human nature. Not a great part of human nature, not a part of human nature that I'm proud of, but it's there. In Israel, they did an archaeological dig, and 7,200 years ago, they found slingshots and cannonball-like balls that they could be using as weapons of mass destruction. Looks like man's been doing this for centuries. As long as there are more than two people on this earth, somebody's going to feel threatened, and the other person is either going to protect themselves or wipe you out. It happens. You would think in the 21st century that we've come a long way, but it looks like that long way is in technology. Technology has come a long way, but human beings and human emotions, we don't understand them to this day. And right now, with all the trauma that has been perpetuated, we need social services, psychiatrists, healing areas more than ever. We're hurting. All over the world, people are hurting. We've got wars flaring up in many places. We're not murdering the millions that we used to, but I wonder if you look beyond the numbers of just the wars in Ukraine, in Israel, in Gaza, in Sudan, in Yemen, etc., etc., etc. We're hurting a significant number of people on this planet. And then you look at the toxicity. Another rail train derailed in Kentucky yesterday. Sulfuric acid fires consumed the town. Another town destroyed, another town's water system probably also destroyed, and who knows how many people. We're now finding out that from all the toxins that we're unleashing in coal-fired plants, 43,000 people a year died from diseases associated with the small particulate matter. So if we're not killing people off outwardly with weapons of mass destruction, we're killing off people with small particles of pollutants. And they're dying from cancer, from diabetes, from asthma. This is a world where we don't seem to value life. A lot of us go to temples, we go to churches, we go to mosques, and what are we praying for? What are we thankful for? We should be thankful for every single day. We should be giving thanks when we're able to hold our loved ones close. And then, when we've got the opportunity to vote, we should be voting for democracy. In 2024, 50% of the Earth's nations are going to vote. 50%. We're seeing a lot of ultra-right-wing folks come into power. But remember, when they come in, you got very low crime. That's true, because most folks are in jail. And your rights are curtailed. And if you think you're going to get rid of the kleptocracy or the 1%, think again. You're going to be just as much enslaved as you were before. Except with democracy, we have a chance to tax the 1%, level the playing field, and actually curb climate crises. That could be a win-win for all of us. There are many things that can be a win-win. In my heart of hearts, I actually think that this last disaster in Gaza and Israel has been so cataclysmic that after a fashion, there will indeed be a two-state solution. I know it. I know that this is when it's going to happen. Nobody wants to see loved ones die. Nobody. And I think, as part of humanity, if you love life and you love people, you can't hate, and you can't hate forever. You gotta move on, and moving on means the Gazans and the folks in the West Bank territories of Israel and the Israelis are ready for a two-state solution. Do I believe Abbas should be part of it? No, I really don't. I think you need new blood. Do I think that there should be provisional governments in both places? I really do. Does that mean in Gaza an international group? Yeah. And I'm beginning to think that maybe along with Israel, I don't know if the Americans want to be involved, perhaps Germany, and one or two other Arab states should be there to oversee the rebuilding, the peace, and the institutionalization of Gaza society. Right now, it's a stratified society. Why do you think you've got folks in refugee camps since 1947? It's because the wealthier Gazans, they don't really want anything to do with the newer refugees. And by newer, it could be people who are living there almost as long as the state of Israel. In the Western territories, those folks too, they need direction. About 250,000 are working in Israel today, but they need direction in their own society. Too many guns there, too many deaths, not just from the settlers, which is wrong, but too many deaths because they've got gangs and because kids who are less than 26-year-old don't have anything to do. We need a plan, just like we need in our own countries when we have kids who are idle and don't have anything to do. They gotta be channeled. All that energy must be channeled so that people are doing something that's productive, that they love, so that they can have a life. So I'm hopeful. Yeah, Thanksgiving was yesterday, and you'd think, okay, I'd cast the hope aside for the new day. But no, I gotta think about the coming months, next year, the year after. And my goal still is to see a world that I can feel a sigh of relief for, because we've come so far and we've valued life and we've decided no life is expendable. Not mine, not yours, not theirs. Take care, everyone, and Have a glorious day. Bye now.